Deepseek R1 has been all the craze, and so today we're going to cover a full beginner's guide to Deepseek and everything you need to know about it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So before we get started, just to share a bit about myself, my name is Cal from Dainami AI, and my goal is to explore and share practical AI use cases and workflows that we can build today to get ahead in this AI race. So what are we going to cover in this video today? Firstly, you're going to know everything you need to know about Deepseek R1, what's the hype around it, and why the impact is so massive for AI, and lastly, a full run-through tutorial on how you can leverage it today. And on top of that, at the end of the video, we'll be covering a bonus R1 Agentic workflow, so do stay to the end to check that out as well. And so, just to start, why is Deepseek such a big hype today? As you can see from the news, Deepseek has displaced Chatgpt as the App Store's top application, NVIDIA even calling Deepseek R1's model an excellent AI advancement. And why has it caused the tech stocks to drop? So what exactly is Deepseek R1, right? Deepseek R1 is a large language model developed by the China company Deepseek Inc. And what's so impressive about it is the cheap development cost of it, which claimed to cost only $5.6 million to train the model, comparable to hundreds of millions of dollars by OpenAI to develop Chatgpt. And all of this is fully funded by their own hedge fund as well. And what's so cool about this is that the model itself is just as powerful as GPT-01. On top of that, it is also open source where users can build on it, modify, or run it locally, where the code is transparent for trust. Okay, so let's take a look at some charts to really understand why it really matters that much. Firstly, as you can see over here, Deepseek R1 costs about $2 per million tokens as compared to GPT-01, which costs about $60 per million tokens. You can see over here, this is almost 30 times cheaper for users to use it, with its capabilities comparable to O1, which is currently one of the best models in the world today. And on top of that, you can see over here in this chart, Deepseek's performance is actually very comparable to all the top models in this world. Take a look over here and see it actually surpassed O1 in some of its reasoning capabilities, and is essentially on par with the rest of its capabilities as well. And so why does this really matter? Firstly, similar to O1, it is an autonomous thinking model, which is really the first step towards autonomous AI agents, right, whereby the model enables AI agents to reason, adapt, and solve problems independently. And we'll take a look at how this works later on in our run-through tutorial, but this is really something that's revolutionary. On top of that, it also democratizes AI for everyone. It is open source, which allows lower barriers of entries for individuals, startups, and researchers, ensuring no single entity controls AI evolution. In the past 1 year before Deepseek, most of the most powerful models are actually closed source like Chatgpt, but with Deepseek coming in at such a low cost price and also open source, with such a powerful output, it really showcased the possibility for more researchers, individuals, and startups to really get into the AI space. Lastly, as shown in the charts earlier, it is super cost effective, making advanced AI accessible to small teams and developing regions. And all in all, because of that, it really shocked the world, and it is only in its infant stage, so imagine what else it could do as it develops further down the line this year. So to help us understand how we can actually leverage Deepseek today, we're going to go through a run-through tutorial on how we can actually use it today. So let's go. So all you gotta do is to go into deepseek.com, and you can start by creating an account by clicking Start Now. And once you're done, you can get into the Deepseek page. So Deepseek R1 can be used on both the computer as well as your devices. And we're going to use this desktop example to showcase its capabilities. So currently the functions on Deepseek are pretty simple. We have an attach image function, we have a search function, as well as a deep think function, which allows you to use R1 for the thinking process. So we're just going to click into deep think to allow us to use the reasoning model. And just to further run through the interface, you can click this button over here to open the sidebar and close it. And you can start a new chat over here as well. Alright, and so like what we have mentioned earlier, this is a thinking model that thinks before it answers our questions. So let's start by asking it a simple question to showcase its capabilities. Alright, we're going to zoom in and we're going to ask it, what is the circumference of an apple? Let's click enter and see what happens. As you can see from here, you can see the thinking process, so that's really cool. It's actually thinking about the different considerations on what we want. So you start off by thinking about what the user is asking, which is our question over here. And then instead of just answering us directly, it actually goes through a couple of thinking process by considering different types of apples and even considering the formula as well. And beyond that, it actually thinks through a couple of things before it actually gives us the answer, which is super cool and almost closer to how a human would answer our questions instead of answering us directly. And this allows us to have more accurate answers from the AI model as well. So let's scroll down and see what we get. So at the end of it, you can see it has actually given us an answer based on its thinking process, giving us a more detailed answer compared to just what we wanted. So instead of giving us an answer based on a single apple, it's given us a typical range of the size for a small apple, a medium apple, and a large apple. It has also provided us with the calculation of the formula it uses and also some variability as well. So let's scroll back up to the thinking again to fully understand why it gave us such an answer. You can see over here, instead of giving us an answer directly, it actually considered different types of apples because they can vary in size. So this is actually a very thoughtful thing before giving us a specific answer. So that's really cool. Alright, so as a reasoning model, one of its best capabilities would be to logically problem solve for us, right? So let's ask it a more complex question to really see its capabilities and to help you understand how you can really leverage these for more complicated queries. So let's open a new chat. Okay, let's paste in our new question. This time let's ask it a more complex question, such as a farmer has a fox, a chicken, and a bag of grain. He needs to cross a river in a boat that can only carry him and one item at a time. If left alone, the fox will eat the chicken and the chicken will eat the grain. Now how can he get all three across safely? Explain your reasoning step by step. And so to mimic how a human will answer the question, a human will actually think through the different processes and come up with a reasoning to actually solve this question. So let's see how Deepseek would actually think and perform with such a question. Let's take a look. Okay, you can see it start to think over here. So it's actually thinking about the classic puzzle, right? It's coming out of a list of entities involved first, and then it considers the different state of it. It's coming out of actually a very deep thinking process. You can see over here, right? You can see it start off with the first step and then the second step onwards. And what's really cool you can see over here is that when it actually has a constraint and some problems, it actually decides to try again before giving us the direct answer. So it comes up with a new strategy to challenge the old strategy to get a better answer to us. Each time it faces a new problem, it actually thinks about it and adapts to a new strategy. You can see over here, it actually thinks through a couple more times, and after going through a couple of thinking process, it's actually provided us with a strategy. So let's take a look at the strategy. Number one, taking the chicken across and then returning alone, and then taking the fox across, bringing the chicken back and taking the grain across, and then returning alone, and finally taking the chicken across and getting all of them safely across. So very cool, and it has actually provided us with the key reasoning as well for its strategy, whereby after thinking about all the different strategies, it decides that the chicken must be moved first to avoid leaving it with the fox or the grain, and this ultimately provides us with a final answer. So you can see over here, because of this thinking process that R1 actually executes, it allows us to get better and more accurate results from the AI model. And this is really the first step to showcase to you how powerful R1 really is. Alright, so now let's showcase to you another example of how you can use R1, let's say for content creation purposes. So let's go into opening up a new chat. Let's ask it to write a short story about a time-traveling historian who accidentally prevents their own birth, a paradox resolution and a moral dilemma, and keep it under 300 words. So let's take a look. Alright, you can see it's thinking right now. Instead of writing a story directly for us, it's actually going through a thought process on how it should come up with the story for us. So you can see over here, pretty creative. R1 is actually thinking about the paradox, how it should be plausible, how can they showcase the moral dilemma, and what is exactly the dilemma for the story, right? You can see over here, and it thought of something over here like choosing between personal survivor and historical integrity, right? And now it's starting to outline the story with historian Dr. Elora Voss. Very cool. And as you can see, as it's typing it out, it actually questions itself to make sure that the answer provided is what we exactly want. Knowing that we want a resolution, it comes up with other ideas for the story as well. And then from there, it actually checks from the word count. And finally, after deciding the draft version over here, it finally comes up with the final answer. So you can take a look over here. This is the final answer from R1. And so this is actually a pretty cool story, right? Dr. Elora Voss, a time-traveling historian in 1965. And it actually talks about the paradox resolution, as well as the moral dilemma, and it has a word count of less than 100 words. So this is actually pretty cool, and you can play around with this further to really use R1 as your content or script writer to really utilize its thinking capabilities to come up with more creative stories for your own use cases. So besides complex questions and creative answers, this thinking process that R1 has is also very useful to create code for us as well. So let's start by asking it to create a code for us. And this time, let's test out its coding capabilities. Alright, so let's say you have a code that you want to create for a snake game, and you do not know how to do so. R1 could be a perfect model to help you kickstart that process. Let's ask it, can you create a snake game for me in Python and teach me how to run it? I want the interface to be sleek and include scores, health, and points. So using its thinking process, once again, it starts off by thinking about how it should create a game for us, and then it also thinks about the different structure of the game that we want. It also talks about the dimension based on the instruction that we want, such as asking it to be sleek, and it also goes through the process of how it actually comes up with the code. Just by looking through its thinking process, we could also further understand why the AI actually developed the code for us in a specific way, and using that, we can actually learn about the results that we're getting from the AI, as well as to help us understand what kind of questions we can ask it further down the line to make changes to our code as well. You can see over here, so it actually considers the different components such as handling collision, displaying the scores and health on the screen. It also talks about the points that we talked about, right? And because the prompt that we gave is so vague, it actually thinks about what could the score actually be used for, right? Such as maybe it could be used as the total points collected, or maybe each foot could give 10 points and the score increased by 10 each time. You can see how this actually mimics how a human developer will actually help you develop a code. And as a person, we wouldn't really just give the answer directly. We will actually think about what our customer wants or what our client wants, and we'll think through the different ideas before actually coming out with the first draft for our customer. So this is exactly what R1 is actually doing for us. So you can see over here, it actually considers the potential issues as well, which is really cool. Okay, and after a very long thinking process, you can see R1 has finally created the Python game for us. This is the code that it has actually created for us. It also explains how to run the game as well, telling us how to install Python, how to save the game, and so on and so forth. So now let's copy this code and try this out and see what we get. So we're just going to open up Cursor, and I'm going to create a new file called snakegame.py. I'm going to paste in a code that it has created for us. Okay. Once it's done, I'm going to save the code. I'm going to open up terminal. I'm going to go into my file. Okay, let's run the game by typing python3 snake_game.py. Over here, we do have the snake game, so let's test it out to see what we get. So you can see over here, we do have the controls. We get to move it around, and we do have the score and the health on the top, so that's pretty cool. Let's try to play this. Oh, okay, we got the foot now. Perfect. We got the next foot. Oh, this is really fast. And let's see what happens. Okay, cool. We do have the score increase as we get the foot. Let's try again. But you can see over here, it's actually created the game for us, and we're kind of like seeing the snake grow as well as we perfect this game. All right, almost there. And you can see over here, this is how the game works, right? And we can keep going on like that. So pretty cool. Once it's over, you can see game over, final score. So that's pretty cool. And of course, the game isn't perfect. You can definitely ask Deepseek to further change the code for you. But as a non-developer myself, being able to just launch the code like that and have the different features functional is really cool. And you can see how if you further play along with Deepseek, you can definitely get a better result for what you want. So I hope this helps you really understand its thinking and reasoning capabilities and how you can leverage Deepseek R1 for your different use cases, such as content creation, coding, or even answering mathematical questions or any complex questions that you have in mind. Now, before we end off this video, as promised, I do have a bonus section for you. So I'm going to showcase to you now, besides just using Deepseek on the chat interface, you can actually use Deepseek API to create more customized and complex use cases for yourself. So for this simple example, I'm going to show you how you can actually create an automation workflow to use Deepseek Agent on Telegram itself. So here I'm going to show you a live demo of how I actually use Deepseek on Telegram and chat with it anywhere I want. So you can see over here, I've created a AI automation workflow using NAN, which is a no-code, low-code tool that allows us to create automation workflows and build our own AI agents. So what this simple workflow does is that it actually uses Deepseek R1 model and allows us to connect and chat with it via our Telegram chat, either through voice or through our text. So let me show you how it works. Okay, as you can see over here, this is my Deepseek agent on Telegram. So I'm going to start chatting with it and we're going to see what happens. And so I'm going to start off by asking it a question like, hey there, what AI model are you? Press play. I'm going to test out the workflow and let's see what happens. Okay, it's run perfectly. You can see over here, it actually answers us, telling us that it is Deepseek R1 Lite Preview, an AI assistant developed by the Chinese company Deepseek. We can also talk to Deepseek through our voice as well, making it our own AI assistant that we can access through our pocket anytime, anywhere. So let's start by asking another question on Telegram as well through our voice. And so we're going to press this button and ask it a question. Can you tell me what is the size of the apple compared to the sun? And let's test out the workflow and see what we get. So very cool, it's telling us the size of the apple compared to the sun. You can see over here it's provided us with the answer that we want. So this is a simple example to showcase to you the capabilities of Deepseek beyond just chatting by using its API as well. So in the span of time, we won't be able to cover everything in this video today. So if you're interested to learn how to build an AI agent like what we have seen earlier using Deepseek R1, do check out my previous video, link in the description below as well. So I hope you've learned something valuable from this video today and understand the power and capabilities of Deepseek R1. I will be covering more videos on how to leverage Deepseek R1 to create more powerful AI agents, so stay tuned for that. If you like videos like this, do give it a like and subscribe and share it with someone that might find this valuable. Until then, I really appreciate you and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.